Namo Madhyo Shri Ye, Namo So Shri Ye, Namo O Namo Shri Ye Soha, O Namo Madhyo Shri Ye, Namo So Shri Ye, Namo O Namo Shri Ye Soha, O Namo Madhyo Shri Ye, Namo So Shri Ye, Namo O Namo Shri Ye Soha. Ye Judan Zogi Jona La Jiangju Banu Nani Gyabzu Chi Da Ge Junye Gibe Sonangi Yola Menje Sangi Ruba Shu Judan Zogi Jona La Jiangju Banu Nani Gyabzu Chi Da Ge Junye Gibe Sonangi Yola Menje Sangi Ruba Shu Judan Zogi Jona La Jiangju Banu Nani Gyabzu Chi Da Ge Junye Gibe Sonangi Yola Menje Sangi Ruba Shu 你就是没多少，让内心你的根把心，送给心多比的把音，照顾那的心拉去把手，我如让那们那拉康的呀大呀。This is just your sitting posture according to the 7 meditative postures of Vairocana. And think, all sentient beings have been my mothers. All sentient beings have been my mothers, not just once, but for numberless times. All mother sentient beings are as kind as my mother in this life. Even though all kind mother sentient beings want happiness and do not want even a small suffering due to engaging wrongly in objects of adoption and abandonment, they do not experience any happiness but suffering. In our minds, sincerely generate loving kindness towards all kind mother sentient beings by thinking, how nice it would be if all kind mother sentient beings were to have happiness and the causes of happiness, that is virtue. May they have happiness and the causes of happiness, or cause them to have happiness and the causes of happiness. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
Okay, just ordinary confusion, wonderment, leaking there, and so the one she never lost it. Leaking didn't show color. She could go double show the same, but I'm on she didn't be so there's no much in the region.
Next, we generate compassions. Next, we generate compassions by thinking, how nice it would be if the bodies of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the class discordant with accomplishing virtue, such as pain, sickness, and harms caused by 4 elements. May their bodies be free from the discordant class, free from a discordant class, or freedom from discordant class. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so.
Just the ordinary confusion, wonderment, reaching to drop it to make a number of Torani. So, you go to the show to the gym, and not on a so this is the
How nice it would be if the minds of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the clouds discordant with accomplishing virtue, such as mental suffering, all coarse and subtle discursive thoughts. May their minds be free from a discordant class, or free their minds from the discordant class. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so. How nice it would be if the speech of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the clouds discordant with accomplishing virtue, all coarse and subtle negative speech, such as lying. May their speech be free from the discordant class, or free their speech from the discordant class. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so. How nice it would be if the three doors of all suffering mother sentient beings were free from the cloud discordant with accomplishing virtue. May their three doors be free from the discordant class, or free their three doors from the discordant class. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so. How nice it would be if all mother sentient beings were free from all suffering and the causes of suffering that are non-virtues. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. Our freedom from suffering and the causes of suffering. Lama, please bless me to be able to do so. Next, we generate bodhicitta. First, we ask ourselves, who should take on the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and of lower realms? I should take on the responsibility to free all mother sentient beings from the sufferings of samsara and lower realms. Even though I should take on the responsibility, I do not have the ability to do so now. Who has such ability? Only those who have achieved the perfectly complete enlightenment have the ability to do so. Therefore, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, by all means, I will achieve the precious state of enlightenment.
也就是世界团队的上去就公布多少条，那个生活说的等，然后那个等于这个是哪把接的就非常非常，你怎么这个通过那个他们是很就平常的真的是，然后那个等于之后第一点不这个这那边那个结果就是啥都是那个结，那他就那这个是这个意思。
Next, we generate all-encompassing yoga mind. The aspiring conventional bodhicitta that thinks, for the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. These transform into a complete mundis at one's heart. And the ultimate bodhicitta, that is, one's mind becoming in one taste with emptiness, all phenomena lack inherent existence. These transform into a white five-pronged vajra on top of the mundis.
第二就是把法律上有这个我建议，到开阳的平面研究，他们就到经济阶段就计划成本的贴板就那些的出色的这个，那马些把它处理就是吧？都是上面这个可能去是。
Next, we meditate on emptiness, that I and the aggregates are not inherently one. If they were inherently one, faults would follow, such as the first one, it would be pointless to assert a self. Self would become many. Self would arise and disintegrate. It will be unreasonable to remember past lives. What that has been done would be wasted. One would meet with actions one has not done.
那就是大部分人一特定的中了，他的哪人的研究的就是因为生长，比较，你看的那这个都容易去不懂，啥就是那个其实。
If the self and the aggregates were inherently different, if the self and aggregates were inherently different, they would become unrelatedly others. Thus, the self and the aggregates are not inherently one or inherently different.
Bodhisattva Deeds了，都忘记到我学的东西，我说这个在管理上面呢，就是派去对人的就生活的底层的是吧？那这个样子，这个就是在原来不好，你全部人上公司，结果的，是吧？什么，不为什么因为我什么东西？ 진주 제발 메사고서 제가 대 신세계 통지 치도파 보안 중앙도 동화도 돼 뒤치도 인사파 공시야 정말 주지 병안에 메사고서 제발이나 그래서 교사들 아 대중이 관심이 있는 요리스.
As I always say, it is important to conjoin the roots of virtue of our true doors with the practice of six perfections. Thus, to conjoin these roots of virtue with the practice of six perfections, the first one is generosity. The nature of generosity is a mind of giving. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on engaging in the Bodhisattva Deeds is for the sake of achieving happiness and purifying sufferings of all sentient beings. If I am able to cause this mind to manifest, then these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of generosity. Next is patience. Next is morality. The nature of morality is a mind of abandonment. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma, I will properly abandon my physical and verbal negative deeds so that they do not manifest. Next is patience. The nature of patience is a mind that is undisturbed. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma, I will patiently accept any physical or mental hardships that occur. Next is joyous effort. The nature of joyous effort is a mind that takes delight in virtue. I will joyfully and enthusiastically engage in listening, contemplating, and meditating on the Dharma. Next is concentration. The nature of concentration is a mind that single-pointedly focuses on any virtuous object. During these 2 hours of listening, contemplating, and meditating on Dharma, I will single-pointedly focus my mind on the virtuous object without being influenced by distractions and discursive thoughts. Next is wisdom. The nature of wisdom is a knower that thoroughly distinguishes phenomena. I will properly and unmistakenly understand the words and meanings of the teachings that I listen to, contemplate, and meditate on. If I'm able to cause these minds to manifest, these roots of virtue will be conjoined with the practice of six perfections.
就是我觉得先生的天气这个上帝就很多多个第一阶段，那君主去君主出门去出门，这说是个人生的这个也是给他变化的原因，这都是个人会接受是。
Set a good motivation. For the sake of all mother sentient beings, I will achieve the state of enlightenment. For this, I will listen to the great commentary on engaging in the Bodhisattva Deeds and practice accordingly in order to benefit sentient beings.
我也那些 thank you，他们说的人，看到不是全部学我的名字，进去全部的，是在给我什么在全部回的人，他们说女了，在全部的，对，弄的都是有人起来有我的，他属于给我什么的，我，他常常弄的都是也在我在，弄的都是在各个中间的事，他常常把我在就是人，也给全部的事。
Yes. So the text that we are going to study is engaging in the deeds of a Bodhisattva composed by Bodhisattva Shantideva. So we are very fortunate. We are really fortunate to be able to study these texts together and accumulate merits together and accumulate virtuous imprints together.
那就当我们经济情况的嘛，学了这个经济情况，中包括的电视节目学完了，那电视节目学完了，你不是他，就当我们说背下考的地方呢，那第一个，那背下的中包括的你必须学是吧？你学过是的，那电视节目学完了，我说，那但是他可能你必须学是吧？
So the text is engaging in the deeds of a bodhisattva composed by Bodhisattva Shantideva, who usually when a text is taught, when a text is taught, then the teacher will explain the history of the author. So I would like to briefly talk about the history or life story of Bodhisattva Shantideva.
我这逻辑的话，具体是看到俺自己学完呢，那就是经过学完了，我说各地解释真吧，各地解的成员是吧？各地解释真吧的，你根据俺说，上网当时都是这个，也在那全部上下的，那个七个解释是吧？
Yeah. So by talking about the life story of the great Bodhisattva Shantideva, so this will serve as this will become the remembering the kindness of Bodhisattva Shantideva, and by remembering the great kindness of Bodhisattva Shantideva, then we ourselves will accumulate roots of virtues.
这种的解释全部学完了，当然说我的这个这个可你看呢，不一定的，是说，的。动作的话，都是多点的，咱们的血脉的成为了，估计这个领袖的话，有科目上是有点理解了，也叫不给国家是，也叫不给国家是，用的了，都尽量叫嘛，是他们的是的话，都尽量叫嘛，你看的谁是中国人，看的也是强的说，也是挺说的。
So the great Bodhisattva Shantideva was born as a prince named Shiva Gocha, then in a place called Komos. So Komosang is the west of Bodhgaya. So Bodhgaya is considered the middle, consider the center, and then it's the west of Bodhgaya, where Shantideva was born as a prince. His father named King Gewa Gocha. So his father's name is a king, then his name is called Gewe Gocha. And his mother, her name is Dojin Nenjoma.
那过两次西过去说了吧，就是学了人嘛，我们去那个人才比确实是介绍的吧。
So when Shantideva was born, then he was named Shiwe Gocha.
我讲到国内著名的这制作鸡蛋家吧，也是这么学了，我主干是，制作鸡蛋家的，等这样的，哇，他刚才就说你讲毕业了是吧？他就今天毕业了是吧？等就今天毕业学习不的是，这个是吧？ 지진 장비에 계시는 또 지진 장비야라 좀 많은 데 약간 더 보고 있어서 it's 좋아.
Was when he was 6 years old, then he met a Siddha. Siddha is the practitioner or actualizer. Yeah, yeah. So he met a Siddha, received Manjushri's empowerment. Then he meditated and he prayed to Manjushri. Then he had the visions of Manjushri, who taught him many instructions.
다 간다 버스 전부 좋아라도 다 간다 여보 버스 차들어 다 버스 차들이 다 간다 감사 수치라 다 간다 야자고 무슨 데르고 다 야자고 데르디 다 제시데 간다 그러나 제시들라 다 간다 수비야 다 간다 무슨 좋아 야 여보도 제스나 다 데리 제시데 다 부터 부티 수비야 다 제시들어 다 제시데 다 무슨 야자고 데 제시데 간다 जैसे कि वो शिवाला भी सो गुमरे हर दिन निमा ये वाम मानसो माम जिन जैसे जब वो दे दे जैसे दे ठंडा जैसे कि वो शिवाला भी तो हर समय गुम बेगुशी हर बेगुशी में खाना के माने रहने के हुआ के ने मारे से जैसे सो के ने मारे से
So then his father, the king, passed away. So according to the traditions, when the king, the father, passed away, then usually the prince will assume the kingship. So many requested the Shirei Gocha, the prince, to assume the kingship. Then he had no choice but to assume the kingship, but to accept to assume the kingship.
아들이 간다 제시 수행자 케레자와 케레자디 몸을 비워 케레자디 아시미가 간다 무슨 거 지가 대보다 제시기 이게 양아서 지야와 그래야 그때는 이제 뭐라 그러나 세리머니가 이거와 그때 제고 지야 그래 난 저거 지야 선은 제고 지야 이 군다 간다 니나나 다 간다 무슨 니나나 다 간다 지진자 비야 다 간다 근데 그는 비스는 간다 제시가 와 니나는 간지고 그냥 다 간다 그러나 디지 장비야 그래서 제시기 트거다 쉬네 그러나 제시 트거다 쉬네 뭐 제시 시고절의 보호세 한 민변 그 근데 돈의 얘기는 해서 나대서 해서 그거 내는 얘기 해서 너무 전화기 이신이 얘기 해서 나는 전화기 이신이 얘기 뭐지 해서 얘기 쏟아 그게 신이 쏟아 나라니까 대지도 다 되게 기준이가 또 대지가 돼야 다 저는 무시가 되겠어 마비가 되겠어 뭐 아까다 그 지지 장벽이 단단한 부스다 하다 기준이 이제 와
So many requested the prince Shirei Gocha to assume the kingship. Then he had no choice but to accept it. So after his acceptance, then after some time, then the day before his enthronement, then he had a dream. So he dreamed of Manjushri. When Manjushri was sitting on the throne, and then Manjushri said to him, Shirei Gocha, my child, so this is my seat. So I am your virtuous friend, or I'm your teacher, or I'm your lama. So it means that I'm your lama, I'm your teacher. So it is not appropriate at all for both of us, the student and the teacher, to sit on the same throne.
가서 용가라 지나가서 미리 나가는 건데 지가라 간다 심지 지가라 간다 자원이 리아 무슨 들어와 이 들리 대바이나 가서 이게 두개 얘기가 이자는 차는 거와 이자는 차는 거리 또 스포는 예스타 간다 뭐
Yeah, so this is not respectful to is not respectful for the student and the teacher to sit on the same throne. So it's not proper, and it's not possible. It's not possible to do like that as well. It's disrespectful.
어디 이제 앉아 누가 갑시다 아무나 앉아 됐어요 그래 누가 가더니 어디 이제 지지 도마게 아니 수수니 누가 수수니 제대 친구 좋아해 뭐라 다도 피고 정보라 그 차고 그새끼 그러다 어디로 와서 들으시면 망고 맞지 뭐 마신 추석을 쓰는 나수가 마디아 이거로 와 사고시가 나 추석을 마시는 그래 그러니까 양 민배의 보스 제시세워다 나이 출세 제시 세워다 나와기 추사고 들리지에서 나서 나와라 딱 출세는 예 이것이 사이 등에 너무 영화 여러와 나이 출세 들리지에서 제시 소마이나 제시가 들리지에 추사고 제시 내 추사고 들리지 줄어라 와고 와도 소리에서다 제시 소마이나 들리지 줄어라 와고 그래서 그래서 그대로와 시간 고래 어디구나 등에 강에 집어지 마도 이 것은 뭐와 어디 니가 말이에서 이제 되면 너 있을 수 있어 니가
Then again, he dreamed of Tara. Then Tara took the form of a mother, and Tara bathed him by pouring hot water over his crown. So usually, if you pour hot water over your crown, then over your head, then you feel how say you'll be unable to bear the pain and the suffering, right? So then Tara the form of a mother and then bathed him by pouring water over his crown and said to him, "My child, this kingship is like the hot water of hell, and you are about to be initiated by it and being put to work."
어디서 니가 나오니 다니야 세워와 아니 제시 세가라 니 세가라 어때 제시 세워는 거는 다니 동보단 무슨 그래서 그걸 대고 말이서 제시 제시는 자원이 있는 세워도 막 필요 빠지지 근데 그 동보단이 찬도 안 지금은 산 제시 자원이 무슨 막 근데 세 제발 예수고
So then the prince woke up and thought that this kingship was like a poisonous tree that stopped me or obscures me from practicing dharma. So then he decided not to assume the kingship. Then he ran away.
아니 있어도 신경 가서 주소 제보다 주소도 맞으면 다 배도 그러와 그래라 그냥 내가 보시면 말에 그 제시 그 야구 세 손자 그 손하다 이방 때 제시 뭐 보시면 어떤 되게 그런 나지 그런다 제고 되게 그런다 요 제일 딱한다 다시는 또 다 거기 지내도 들어가겠다 근데 제시 먹으면 다 제모로 들어가겠어 좋아 나 전에 신경 지나로 봐 그런다
So running away from palace is not easy for him because he was a prince and he had many guards and servants and male and female servants. So then, and however, he decided not to assume the kingship. So at that night, he ran away. He rode a horse and then ran away from the palace.
다 간다 저기가 다 간다 지나나로 봐 저기 다 간다 그게 동네 쉬고되고라 사야 마라 그냥 마라 동네 쉬고되고 그래서 와 동네 쉬고되 그 희나 지나노 대셔만이 자기 샤 자기就是进吧그래서 와 희나나노 야 장자 다도 차를 뭐지 배우고라 다 타리 뭐 마베나 얼마나 되냐 세단이 야 제시케야게 세상하다 여러와 그다 뜻이 타리 뭐지 배네 희나나 샤만이 자기 샤만이 자기 친구가라 다 하자야 배 가고 그것도 심어 지가라 추추미 주주도 도마래 해서 와 추추미 주주지 이 도마래 아까 돈이와 빼셔 세 가사치 그게 돈도지 오늘 가서 꼼비 동안 세세 주들어와 주도 돈도지리 나서 모두들 부모지 주 소소 니나래네 이러니 뭐 주대 만두 주대 둘이 해서 그래서 좀 말해서 나와 해서 부모지 주대 정확하고 뭐 주대 이게就是부모들이 부모지 부모지 되는 주대 그러나 이国家的 理念이国家보다 대공이 동의 시대가 됐어요.
He had to run far away because otherwise that he will be that the followers will catch him and then and bring him to the palace and then again requested him to assume the kingship to be the king, right? So he had no choice but to run far away. So 21 days has passed. Then he spent 21 days in the forest where he couldn't find much food and water to drink. So he underwent great sufferings of thirst and hunger. So then then he saw a small pool of water. So when he was about to drink that small pool of water, then a lady appeared And then the lady said that, oh, this is a poisonous water. You shouldn't drink it. So if you want to drink, if you want to drink water, then I have water. So then this lady pour the water, drinking water from a vase to Chiwe Gocha, the prince.
다 치들리네 다 간다 부모들이 치들리네 부모들이 다 이렇게 쇼스를 그가 이런 같은 이스 저런 이 같은 부모들이 치와해서 와 부모들이 그게 치니까 다 지나는 야 치니까라 다 지나는 야 치니 아와 치면서나 안다 ninjo바지 변상되는 ninjo반다고 데미지야 중도 치바리 해서 다 치들이 ninjo바지 이 중도 치바리 해서 와 그랬더니 부모들이 치
And this lady said to the Shire Gocha, said, follow me, I will guide you. So then this lady guided by Shire Gocha to a yogi who sat in a cave in the forest.
다 tindo게 다 ninjo바데 중도 치는데 다 ninjo바데 이제 같이 ninjo바데 수레스나 ninjo바데 계신 잠비야 이 몸지 쇼들이 ninjo바지 여러 다 디자 치는데 이 진주사데 이 계신 잠비야 다 코란 이 잠비야 지제 와 미진 잠비야 지제 다 튕게데 스레스나 상게 튕게데 여기 부모지와 튕게데 주제 드마 그렇게 지도와 와 이제 드마 차대 어 데리서다 아까다 지지 잠비야 지제에 두가 예서다 주제 드마
So then Shire Gocha met the yogi who sat in the cave. So that yogi who sat in the cave was Manjutri. And the lady who brought him to meet meet the yogi was Tara.
다 지지 ninjo바 되게 간다 아무와 도와서 딩인지라 녀바 쇼바다도 또 머신에 이 빠도 메바신에 간다 아다 시 고차라 간다 꼬바 쉬운데 말이에요 방도진데 다 두지라 쉬우진 총발에 해서
So then the yogi gave him initiations and he found numberless doors to concentration and wisdom. So it means that Shire Gocha developed in his mind stream the qualities of realizations and abandonment.
다 되는 순간 다야 ninjo바 텔레파 야 사진이다 야 시 고차 야 사진 신뢰를 들었다 그러와 사진 신뢰를 파트너들이 한다가라 그래서 이다지 이런디 창제 다 신뢰를 아디스 때 다가도 이런 창제로 와 이런 창제로 와 창제도 신뢰를 아디지 너무 다 배워야겠어 다 배는데 하나하나 배는데 자부 생각이 와서 저 누가지기는 누가지는 야스는 때 자부지 다 자부지 그래서 누가 든지는 다 여부 되게 홀라 나 램보 그래서 여부는 홀라 그래서 홀라 됐습니다 간다 홀라 됐습니다 케는 말했어 이거지 대부분상 저보다 봐 여부 되게 홀램보라 돼 하면 제시 나와 대로지 들려올 저는 아직 여부 되고 램보 되고 해서 여부 되는 거 되는데 여부 생각 안 봤어 다 되긴 홀라 대바래 홀라 돼야 돼 홀라 무사다 미스기 다 로리도 말아가지고 그거다 램보 히 고쳐라 이 고쳐들라 동보다 리바다 때문에 야보를 통해 간다 그 잡고 램보라 되고 무엇이 너희 때고 내가 다 되기선 필요야 그래서
So after that, Sri Gocha went to other places. Then he carried around the implements of the yidam. So yidams are hand implements. So he carried a sword together with a cover, a wooden sword together with a cover with him. And then he went to other place. Then he went to the country ruled by the king Singingaba. And then that king Singingaba saw that Shire Gocha was very clever. Then he appointed Shire Gocha to be the minister in that country. And Shire Gocha accepted.
다 잡어도 홀 데이터 히 고쳐도 소위는 개발 소위는 가르이나 리바탕보다 개발이 잡어도 내가 가르치는 추를 가져야 기술을 가져야 돼 제시 좀 나다 추를 봐 주치니 와 앞에 제시기 내가 그거 봐 추를 줘야게 리베 탑노소 되네 앞 리바탕보 쉬면서다 잡고 콜라페 하여튼 다 쉬우진 못해 잡고 콜라 이체 그렇게 가르치니 반다 두스다 잡고 그냥 달라 거기는 잡고 문제 봐라 그래서 바로 와
Yeah, so Shui Gocha is skilled in many fields. Then he was very clever and big and intelligent that he was able to turn the country and to rule the country with Dharma. So he was able to to turn the countries and the citizens and ministers and etc. Into Dharma practitioners, and he was able to turn the country or rule the country with Dharma. So then this Xue Guoqia was like a guide for that king.
그 자체 가르면서 거기 자리에 힘마도 요 말이지. 힘이 말하되 lembo 라디스와데 힘 자리 고치고 말이지. lembo 라디스 힘 자리 고치하고 요 말이지. 라디 힘 라디게 무슨 저거 lembo 대바이나 저거 민쟁이 봐서 그랬어. 근데 저거 민쟁이 봐. 와. 그래서 힘을 요 말이지 코라나. 그때 님마저 그 요지랑 가서 그거 당게 이렇게 내가 lembo 기다 저도진에 또 저거라. 그래서 그러니까 말이지. 저거 쉬워 했어.
Yeah, so Xue Guoqia tried to Xue Guoqia turn that country or try to rule that country under or according to Dharma. So then other retinue of the retinue of the king or some ministers, then they felt jealous, and then they said to the king, "This Xue Guoqia is he's trying to deceive you. So he's trying to deceive you." And then Xue Guoqia, only carries a wooden sword. So if others saw it, he will bring bad names to you, the king, or he will stigmatize your name, the king. So then other ministers said this to the king. lembo 창마. lembo 창마 레디야. lembo 창마 야 레디 된 거래.
뭐 참아게. 여보 lembo 그거 자리 띵셔 스리도 자리들 따지죠. 여보 와. 바로 루지 lembo 그거 루지네. 바로 아리 띵이 있어 로데. 다시 고자게. 여보 이 라디데 띵바이나. 여보가 무슨 우리였어. 여보라 내가 우리였어. 이 라디데 야 띵바이나. 여보는 내가 우리였어. 저 휴가를 해서 기고 고자게. 기고에 쉬어데. 여보게 디스토파사 도바디사 해서 도파사디나 도파사나 사실은 답이 게 뭐듯이 되지 뭐 아들이 이제 되셔서 야 연대 잡을 거 나면 해서.
So then one day, all the ministers gathered, and with the king in the middle. And the king said to all the ministers, "So all ministers, show your sword. So how do you show your swords? I need to pack." So then Xue Guoqia said to the king that if I were to pull out my sword, then it will bring harm to you, the king. So, and then the king, the king suspected, still said to Xue Guoqia that show your sword.
하여튼 다 잡고게 가다티 이해가 돼 손자로와 시 고차 가르쳐서 잡으면 되고요나 하여튼 지 이해바 손쇼스 이해가 지해바도 맞고 이해바도 시쇼스 이해바도 좀 이해바도 시쇼스 그래서 시바도 잡고라 좀 같이 그래서 어디서는 다 잡고게 지해바도 좀 이해바도 시네 시 고차기 라디 때문에 라디 때문에 라디를 빼요 가서 이랑 저기 잘 돌아고 나들 유리 잡고게 이해바라 我说的，另外好多的不是啥啥我，我没有出这个的，没有这些病啊，都是我那些，那是我那些都是这的，然后你啥都，你啥都的，或者别他们说的，学的，教我给哪个教的，这当时西国家的，那个没啷之间的，没啷之间的，你得人家呀，教我厉害点，你得教人家呀。大概没事吧？
给我的，
我教过里面的，啥了嘛啥子的，人家西国家我们啷不教的，人家人家人调来这回事，人家人家的教我的，我大部分那个夫妻点点的像是个多少，我突然多的，然后还有的夫妻的是教我的是，我人手，多的是。
Yeah, so even though Xue Guocha said to the king that if I were to put on my sword, then it will bring harm to you, the king still said to Xue Guocha, yeah, please show your sword. Then Xue Guocha said to the king that close your right eyes and only see it with your left eyes. So close your right eyes and then shut your right eyes and then only open your left eyes, then and see the sword. Then Xue Guocha pulled out the sword, and due to the brightness and the light rays, how's it, the wooden sword were radiating light rays, and to the extent that it took the eyeball of the king out. So then the eyeball, the left eyeball of the king fall out. So because this the wooden sword is the an implement of a Gidam, right? So then it was radiating lights, and then to the extent that the left eyes of the king fall out. Then they were, then all of them were shocked, and then Shiva Gocha then said the prayer, and then the eye again, let's say, went back to the socket of the king. Then the king realized that Shiva Gocha was a Siddha, or realizes or actualizes, then so the king realized it, realized the fact that Xue Guocha was a realizer.
我对不起的，刚刚的教我给，西国家那边，给一切，或者说是把一切啊，或者给我的西国家给大教我边，就是也是给缺囊种植的，缺囊去种植，缺囊种植嘛这，你，我觉得把区域你那么做主的是，这就是区域了啊，这个区域，区域是我然后的去做的，目前那么说那么去做做那么去，但是个区域是，我等于区域。区域你去当嘛做学是，你去当嘛，我你去当嘛做学是。就是看，也是这个那里，哎呀，西国的教我说的，什么嘛？西国的教我说的，要么是你们给他票子，他哪里的？他哪里的票？他西国家，他有意思嘛？他有意啊。
的确是给他们做的这个是做，
这是什么？
其余国家也送过了，
西国家给教我了，
给我了，
教我了，这个这中国上西国的，完了做主要的领导，就是区域的那些地方，我是。
So then the king has developed good faith in Xue Guocha. Then the country was ruled under or ruled according to the Dharma. And then Xue Guocha also advised the king that please establish 20 Dharma sites in your country. Dharma sites is where you practice Dharma and etc., where the Dharma activities happens. So it's like a Dharma centers. So then establish 20 Dharma sites in your countries. Then after this, then one day, Shiva Gocha went to other places. Then he went to Nalanda, the center.
以前国家哪里的也偏的，对哪里的他全部，全部建议他是吧？听不听他？叫那个都全部
全部
建议他，
建
议他，我建议他是吧？你全部今天了，他看到他就全，后来就今天全部给拆的，那拆西他是，这现在找到一个是吧？那拆的，那就今天再拆西他，希望他是，现在是你到了，也是
Nalanda 来了。
我觉得。
So Shiva Gocha went to Nalanda and took ordination under the abbot Sureha. Then he was given the name Shantideva.
我哪里的来看到，都是老早前，跟那些叫我学了的，叫我 제일하서 비서 배라도 주네 딱다 디진자 배가 좋아하는 디진자 배가 제시네 그거는 소리나도 와 그래서 디진자 배가 제시 디진자 배 두서와 그 누구만 두서리 디진자 배 양자 제시네 그 이제 지금 좋아하는 최소 그 최소인데 이제 지금 좋아하는 상황 최소 때 그거는 아니 네 너무는 딱하다 그래서 두 시에 딱하다 와 빨리 가자 딱하다 아니 지금 쉬고 그 아니 지금 딱하다 유지를处理 근데 취지 농학이 뭐가 농학 때 취, 내가 생각하던 부지를 투발해서 부지를 와 그건 거기에 대해서 두기나 투 내가 한다 등인지라 내가 한다 뭐 가리나 그거 내가 뭐 샤워 그런 게 무슨 뭐 샤도 그랬어 뭐
So then he studied in Nalanda. When Shantideva previously he accomplished monastery practice and he was able to see monastery. So then he received many teachings from monastery. So the sutra and also tantric teachings from monastery directly. When he developed the realizations in sutra and tantra more even more excellent than before. So even though he developed realization in sutra and tantra before, then however when he was in Nalanda, when he the visions of Manjushri and continued to study and receive teachings from Manjushri, then he developed even greater realizations in sutra and tantra than before. Then he also developed in his continuum the qualities of realizations and abandonment. So he was all the time in the state of meditative equipoise.
뭐 등지를 하는 데를 쉬기 가라 다 그런다 지지 다 됐을 때 무시와라 제 도서와 좋아도 그래서 다 나는 데를 쉬기 가라 그 나는 데가 내가 용을 그래서 내가 지금 내가 이렇게 오거와 아주 정말 마음보지 통해 다 됐어 나오는 간데 이거 나만听지那你们的不啥子你这酒情况是那说当时你这酒人了那就给你进化是有些东西给你进化是有些是吧说得等着吧但你们的那个我是中国处理方面问题
你妈这哪个？
你们的你我是我的是说台上台上是光上电视我不理解马基本通那啥的本质流行啥叫本质
给龙刚啊，
我给他看我的历史跟历史往后包括台上过是两类时候的这往里面吧历史他情感不是那么通的历史通他教吧的看教吧的毛了吧的通的他看他现在成问题
So when Shantideva was in Nalanda, then to others. So when others see Shantideva, those other monks, managers, and etc., those staffs, ordained staff, and etc. So when they see Shantideva, so they only think that Shantideva was eating 5 kilos of rice a day. So one day itself, then Shantideva was eating about 5 kgs of rice, and yet Shantideva did not engage in any Dharma activities such as studying, listening to the Dharma, contemplating, or practicing Dharma. So what others see Shantideva was only engaged in those inappropriate activities or deeds.
근데 저기 다 본다 나서다 신신시 능력이 나이게 수 민도 수도 하다 이些민도 수 참아게다 배 나는 다 그 뭐가 나는 더 주고 속에 아지지 시원하게 배 사. 얘기와 지금도 아 코페 뭔가 되니라 되나 그 샹리슈아 라주 배 샹리슈아 쇼지 레샤스 아 데페 그게 쇼지 레샤스
rabjungla na kari
라주 뭐냐 근데 라주 나도 되게 근데 그냥 그냥 대바이나 그 안다 다 동산다보다 나도 쇼나 다 동산다 하고 진짜 자살이에서 지금 도스 산에 콜라 나 무슨 것이냐 그 니도 스타와 있어 니 무슨 것이야 무슨 것이 간다 니시 좀 봐. 무슨 것이 와도 니시 좀 봐서 니다 봐. 그래서 안 니시 좀 봐서 니다 가서 니시 좀 봐서 와도 숨데 가르스는 다 사야시바지. 사야시바지. 가리나 사야베 난다 먹고 다 찬서 사투는 거. 찬서 사투바지. 대시바지. 이냐. 따니냐래. 시바. 따니 사타지 있어다 냐도. 아니는 찌 가르스나 다 차상피야. 차상피야. 다 대수마도 다 대수마도 찌에 동요마 다 고란 사마. 다 고수 사마. 다 간다 니히네 요즈와 다 나는다. 내가 지게 라주 망고지 다 도스 나도 저기 거야 붙여드려 아고 이게 좀 봐도 그걸 니 민도다 그냥 민도는
Yeah. So then, those monks who who didn't have clairvoyance, then they say that if Shantideva stay among us in the community and eat and he only eat and drink, then it will bring bad names or bad reputations to the monastery. So then those monks even gave him names, call him Busuku. So Busuku translate into English is translate into Tibetan is Dushe Sumba. So Dushe Sumba in English is like three perceptions. So what are these three perceptions? So Shantideva has these three perceptions. He only knows how to eat, as if he only knows how to eat, and he only knows to sleep. He knows to he knows how to say he only knows how to eat. He only knows how to sleep, and he only knows how to go to toilet. So he only had these three perceptions. He know these three things only. So this is what others who did not have clairvoyance see Shantideva.
다 사야는 벤제 제가 때 뭔가 신이 사도 거래 다 신다 건강하게 때 맞아 맞아 봐 그거 한다 나때 가게 맞아 봐 지금 다 연애 연애다 나로 때 뒤빠지 대와 있는 그러다 보니 대와는 다 신대라 이제 마다 다 야부 신을 해면 우리 비약이 다시 제고 왔다 다 내가 지내도 그래 얘기 봐 뭐지 다 간다 나만 동요 뭐 와, 비약이 다시 제고 그래서 와 다 대소마다 동요 뭐 지지 레스팅 뭐 좋아라 양과샤 그래서 모두 같이 제대로 무슨 너무나 그렇지마다 동요
So Shantideva knew to eat 5 kilos of rice a day. Then for others, for those ordained monks who did not develop clairvoyance, then when they see Shantideva stay in monastery and stay in the community, and he only knew how to eat and feed the other two. When this is not good for the community, so then they didn't like Shantideva. So then some of them, those monks and some staff, those ordained staff, then they tried to chase him away from the monastery, so expel him from the monastery. So because when Shantideva, even though Shantideva do concentration, stay in the concentration, however, others did not see that.
다 거기서 내가 지금 나는 데서 건데 오스나 어서 배 나는 저기 배 논디야 배 사야 그냥 그거 돼. 니 니마게 배 대바 진이야 핀조들이. 대바 진이 배 겐디라 배 하장 대제야 비전도 리제 됐지. 대제 비전들이 또 들리지 배 그래서 모두 나는 각게 맞지 모아면은 각게 맞지. 그래서 대제도 최대로 그래서 예스 최소 와 이거 대바전이야 비전에서 또 인제바나 문제나 주파스 문제는 대체적인 거래 그러나 이거 사는 거래 내가 사는 거래 딱고 상황인데 지금 뭐 오늘은 정말 되게 되게 맞이나 너무 무슨 무슨 건데 보고 있다 너무 죄도 차고요.
Yeah, because those food and drink are offered by those faithful ones to the monastery. So those are the substances of other faith that offered to the monastery for them to use to practice dharma, to listen to the dharma, contemplate and meditate on the dharma, and to recite prayers as well. So if Shantideva did not engage in all these activities, then whatever um, those substances offered by others out of faith then would go wasted. Shantideva himself other thought that Shantideva himself will also accumulate negativities and create misdeeds as well. So then they employed a method to expel him from the monastery.
어떤 다마 서득이나 비 부요 말에 그래서 쇼라데 다 나는 마 피나 란사 비죠 말에 딘주 지단 갖고 와 다게 라주르페 누가 사동 딘지나 누가 사 비고 세 딘지 비고래 그 제시스다 자목세로와 제시스다 가진 거면 비죠 말 내라고 비죠 말 땅에 되게 와 답비 맞춰지 딘주 맞춰 그 딘주 베라 미스 인간가네 이 맞춰기 인수 치단가네 이 보내 되게 되게 야와게 요마 야와 요마로와 어때면 이 맞춰지 사람 쉽지 마 내가 된지고 그럼 비 맞게 봐마 그래 사실지 왜 지금
So, however, it's not that easy to expel him from the monastery because Shantideva did not do anything against the rules and regulations, and uh, so he did not do anything that go against the vows, rules, and etc. So on top of that, he was prince as well. So he was not, I think, those monks and those ordained styles, they were unable to expel him directly from the monastery without any reason. So then they thought of an idea that they need to expel him uh, from the monastery by causing him to leave the monastery himself. So the only way is to cause Shantideva to leave the monastery himself instead of them expelling Shantideva from the monastery.
앞으로만 덜덜하게 다시 감지나 다시 시험하고 있지 라고 지어요. 자세 좀 보셔라. 사도 니하고도 도수제기 뭐로 말아. 제마도 다 그러는 거 제냐야 말씀. 또 제줘야 말스 타고. 그래서 좀 보셔라. 또 좋아야 말. 또 좋아야 말. 이제야 그러요 말스. 제시야 말. 아저 얘기 받아서 뭐지? 머리지. 또 내내 내려지. 막더라. 이게 내가 안다니. 아까 내려지. 머리지. 또 삼각하신 거지.
Cambodia 가서 대초 대방금 줘야 돼.
이 머리지네. 다 머리지네. 참 너지. 다 간다. 다시지네. 너 너지. 나 토로마 쪼지. 그봐. 나 토로마 쪼지. 쪼쪼 마지 취신지. 무슨 제고. 머리지 손. 만사지라. 보통이 너 뭐데. 이제 디제라. 아저씨 좀 좋아라 저런. 너 내가 그래서 너 내가 지지 쉬었다. 아 저런. 너 내가 키르셔. 다 거기 내가 걔네. 나 가게 신경 그랬어. 근데 아 사람 지금 말다 또 만드는 조금 말했어. 저는 내가 그래서 만드는 조금 말했어. 다 본다. 무슨 까지 간죠. 야, 난 리그를 해서 그래. 애슐라 캐네 말했어.
So then the method they used was Shantideva. What they saw Shantideva was only eating and drinking eating, drinking, and etc. And did not engage in learning Dharma, memorizing Dharma, reciting Dharma, or explaining, giving Dharma discourse. So then the method was uh, first they asked those monks. First they chose other monks to memorize the Dharma, to recite those teaching, to recite sutra, for example, to recite sutra or text out of by memory, and then ask them to give Dharma discourse to others. Then and they take turn. So then one day they asked Shantideva to give to recite text out of, by memory, to give Dharma discourse and etc. Then Shantideva rejected and saying that I have nothing to offer, I have nothing to teach, I don't know anything. So then still other insisted him to memorize those texts, to memorize or recite those texts by heart, and then to give Dharma discourse. So after they insisted, then Shantideva accepted.
다 간다 두세 다 자세 좀 시원해 캐네 봐. 와. 다 캐네 자데 다 고속에 야 내가 지내기야. 자세 좀 시원하다 자자지. 야. 그다 님의 집에 가서 부르다가 오라 간다 자자지. 뭐에서 많이 봐. 수지다가 오라 자자지 오라. 대신 정보 이야기. 주도 더 보지라 봐. 겐자 매나 바지 연사 마트가 겐자 이는 자마트가 되지. 정보 있지. what the literature, and the tradition. I could can read that, not pay your money. I can touch your money, punishing money. That should do what you are. I should do what you are. That's not that. The work around me is one say. Sama, some different. Did it doesn't jump with you. What's an about that did take you. That. Indeed, yeah, pick on the sham. Don't necessarily. It's Jenny for the others. Can't about the tech piece out. Down a few years. Maybe coming down about this time. I think that what's on it. From Jenna. What's on the chicken, do that or us. And some other what's on about when I said, what to me is the chicken. Jealous. Don't understand.
So Shantideva accepted. Then those ordained staff, then they wanted to make a fool of Shantideva because they wanted to make Shantideva to feel ashamed of himself, and then he and leave the monastery himself, right, instead of expelling him. So then they purposely built a very high throne without any staircase. So then and also make announcement to announcement and ask everyone to join to come for the gathering and then to listen to what Shantideva is going to recite or the discourse that he was about to give. So with the intentions that wanted to shame him and make him leave the monastery by himself.
And the Joey, that's a total Joey, that's a me that just a Jimmy pill. That's a Jimmy pill. I should do that, simply with it. I should do that, I can't get a candidate. Someone people didn't tell you that. People didn't tell me. Just a Jimmy again. Zundu, Salah, Pushing, 2 months, pretty much sunny. Then Kashi took up the Kashi, took up the Jimmy again, took up Hata in the took on shoes. Kashi, poor now you put the sugar shoes. Kashi to Zuma, Halaman. I'm not just a Jimmy Chitobo on the list. Chitobo can live, you said. That Chitobo on the shoes and she said, I'm Mambo Chiki. That could mean a top of Mambos and a taco to the teachings and meaning is that I'm Mambo Tesson. A Tesson Jetta Tan, Jaja Chino, that should go and that's kind of what.
So then they gathered many people gathered, and then they wanted to see how Shantideva climbed that Dharma throne that was so the high Dharma throne that was built without any staircase. So then Shantideva came, and then all of them were so focused, wanted to see how Shantideva climbed to that high Dharma throne. So then some of them some of them saw that Shantideva, with the miraculous power, pressed the Dharma throne down and then he sat on it. And some of them saw that Shantideva fly or ascend and then sit on the throne. And then some of them they saw that with the miraculous power, then Shantideva made the Dharma throne small, then he sat on the throne. So anyway, so with even though different people see different different ways Shantideva climbed to the Dharma throne, however, Shantideva was able to sit on the throne.
That's Shantideva, Shola, Shujukan, Lesarwa. That Shuka, the Shusa in Gila, Kotola. You didn't have lots of things over there. Whatever you do over there, say, and not right now. Also, Jaja, Jina, whatever you do, and that's yeah, those shit. It's yeah, that's you know, whatever you can't. I mean, it's a thing, you know.
So after sitting on the Dharma throne, Shantideva asked the audience, so should I say something that was not well known to the world, or should I say something that is well known to the world? So then the audience requested Shantideva to say something that was not well known to the world. Then Shantideva accepted.
You didn't matter what you know, she's sure. Or that is to be sure like that, you didn't go to that. You didn't go to them. What you want to see it. 他也个人可比唱上了，反正就我所以我的求求许多啊，求求是对的，这些求求工啊，世界的研究我的，这个我的这个我，这就是经过的。那点过子呢，那个他就是说了，通过子呢，这些求求工啊，世界的，他也不能可比唱到别是呢啊，那他求求的话，我听听，因为我子到底是让什么生活，在研究过子呢，生活的他看到。
So then Shantideva started to give the teaching, which is the text that we are studying, engaging in the deeds of a Bodhisattva. So then Shantideva started with the first verse, as you can see on the screen. Respectfully, I pay homage to the Sugatas who are endowed with the Dhammakaya, as well as to their children and to all who are worthy of homage. So this is the homage, the first two lines of the first verse.
他今天嘛尊重我做的话，他尊重我他们在节目学了点我做，那么我做的，他刚刚尊重嘛，这是我的，我的团队，他哪里的跟着的，开放马步有的，努力马步学有的，他强嘛，他那上我的，他哪去在节目学了的，不是明大家吧，不是明大家的，他干那些什么是明大家的。他刚给嘛就把马戏吧，啥呀？同样你也别说嘛都没吧，我的，你去接我的，他听出了别长嘛个，那说的嘛，什么当我的，他就是全部学完了的，接不上去嘛，结果学不的人打马步的，他上都是下的时候，我那说话，我说话就有。
So as Shantideva was giving the teachings, engaging the deeds of a Bodhisattva, then he started with these first two lines, the homage. Then, as Shantideva was continue as it giving the teachings, then those panditas, there were many panditas in the Nalanda monasteries, and there are many scholars, great scholars in the monasteries as well. Then they were all shocked how amazed how amazed Shantideva was, because usually when the rest others, when they see Shantideva, they even give him the name Pusuku, right? So to them their impressions of Shantideva was Shantideva only knew how to eat, sleep, and go to toilet. So then when as Shantideva was giving the teachings, engaging in the deeds of a Bodhisattva, then they were all amazed.
那么进去嘛，生活他进去嘛，我做的，出去公安手机上，他也跟了隔壁查查是前几天你妈人吧呀，生活的，他留个吧，他留个吧，搞的，这因为到我们大声自己学的，对，
明白，
我的，
Thank you.
看这个的我们大声自己这个来把他的，什么学了，你个呀，咋看呀不是爬上了，呀，手机的卡着呢。手机的卡着呢，呀这样的，这样破东西，是呀这样的，这样的都是重新说起来是这样，这个人家这当然是手机方面啊，呀，那这个弄了啊。
So as Shantideva was saying the 34 verse of the 9th chapter. So Shantideva said, when neither entity nor entity, so that is when Shantideva started to ascend from the throne. So he was like, flying in the space, or ascend from the throne, ascend into the sky from the throne.
那就刚才你的我们大是这个修这个呀，家里呀，家一刚才进，那进去送完了，那进去送上长小朋友，进去嘛送上那样长小朋友，长小朋友的，哎呀，送西，那个呀，那个呀，哎呀，多小朋友，对的，那刚才去了，那刚才送给嘛，我呀那个，就是这么学了，你这么个，呀，真的，人这么个都是成的，我的给了。
So as Shantideva was ascending into the space from the throne, then he continued to give the teachings, continued to say the verses. So then, to one point that he was ascending higher into the space, then to one extent that no one can saw him anymore, but they still can hear his voices.
네. 간다 미리만 해봤지. 성격도만 보라. 간사지다 간다. 간사지다 간다. 성격도 창자 벤치다 가시 먹어. 창자 고마 돼. 그와 앞에 나 인식이죠. 나 인식이죠. 수마도 신당 고마 돼. 참. 그러나 그와 신당 인식은 이제 좀 고마 돼. 야야 그거도 두 차는.
So then many of them they couldn't see Shantideva anymore, but they still can hear Shantideva's voice. Then still Shantideva was ascending higher and higher into the space. Then to the extent that only few panditas who has the supernatural powers of ears. So I forgot the word already. Audio voices. Something, yeah. So anyway, the supernatural powers of their ears, so they still can hear Shantideva's voice. So only a few panditas were able to do so, and the rest couldn't hear anymore as Shantideva was ascending higher and higher into the space.
그래서 가든 가서 상디기 그들만세 지와 그들만세 대바 나시 에너지 예 그거 뭔가 전송이 하나 전송이 그래서 제가 좋아하는 주제 뭐 집이 무슨 동에 들어다 나 인식이 좀 있어 참하게 그거네 나 대신 그래서 보내지는 그래서 좀 좋아하는 순 선대 가르가르는 참하고 막저 동전이 저 누구다 그러니까 속으로 왔든지 아니 다 참아서 루치는 로데 다 가시기 쇼로가 같이 와나 저 수고 쇼로가 하바니 가시기 이샤바서 그 쇼로가 인자하고 맞아 그거 말에 가시기 샤피 레오다 시는 로데 그거요 말에 제가 샤피 레오다 제르기 레오요 누가 제르기 레오다 샤피 레오 그래서 그거요 말에 그래서 양 체제가 들리시 통과를 다 가시기 쇼로가 공유 받듯이 처음에 저 만디바 나오시 만디바 나만다 거대와 리지 차도 저 루틴이야 논리적으로 와.
Yeah. So then after Shantideva left, then so all of them were amazed, and all of them were amazed. Then they were like the council, yeah, like during the Buddha when Buddhas passed away, then there were several council were organized then to collect the Buddha's teaching. So it's just like that. Then a few many scholars, great scholars, then they gathered and then trying to select the teachings given by Shantideva. So especially those great scholars who had attained the dharani of non-forgetfulness, and then those who had the supernatural powers of their ears, supernatural powers, audio, something. Yeah. Anyway, the supernatural powers of ears, etc. So then they gathered, and then trying to collect the teachings, trying to compile it. So, however, there are many there are many versions of the teachings they heard from Shantideva. So some of them they heard that there are more than 1,000 verses, and then some of them heard that there were 700 verses, and then some of them didn't hear the chapter of confessions and wisdom at all. So they were the versions. There were many versions and incompatible with each other.
나들이 참고 젊은 뒤가 차오로 대번 뒤가 차오다 자세 좀 쉬워라 지지 좀 그 쉬워라 그거 쉬우지 지지 좀 다 벌써 참하게 정말 등도 말아 이 이거 가지 돼야 된다 같이 와가지고 돼야지 유샤바는 이제 주로가 정말 그 간다 돼야 돼 만다 많은 게 제발 그러면 되죠 반디 자세 좀 쉬워라 지지 좀 다 쉬워라 다 지지 좀 쉬워라 야시는 같이 달리는 줄 야원도다 그 벤치다 속에 그렇지 그래서 좀 쉬워라 지지 다 쉬워라 주는 그러니까 그래서 그래서 생각보다 다 그가 동시 문제 드니까 문제서 근데 서제 수사들 그러니까 그것도 그러니까 서 드니기라 주고 뭐야 다 간다 예수 좀 쉬어라 서제 제우리 서제 드니기는 주고 아 거기 다 베리다 미소 베리다 손 맞다 채나 예수 좀 쉬어라 되니까 다 간다 예수 좀 쉬어라 다 개파상에 가봐디 무슨 다른 데 주고 무슨 그럼 개파 베리다 손 말해서
So there were many versions of the teachings that heard from Shantideva. So 1,000 verses, 700 verses, and some that didn't hear the chapter of compassions and wisdom at all. So there were many incompatibilities. So then they wanted to, then they checked, they checked where did Shantideva go to. Then and from their findings, then they knew that Shantideva went to a place yeah. So, yeah. So then they went to Shantideva was reciting in a city called Lita. So then the monastery sent 3 Panditas to invite Shantideva back to the Nalanda monastery.
다 뱀비다 손을 넣어버려야지. 그래서 뭐 좋아라 간단 제일 좋아. 간단 제 힘이가 이제 진짜 뭐 좋아라 마. 얼마나 그렇지. 뭐 시디. 뭐 그런 돼요 뭐. 근데 뭐 되게 미스. 되게 미스. 시디. 마마 비디. 이거지. 나 쇼로가 가시게 되네. 같이 와나지 야 쇼로가 동하바다. 이 잡아 쇼로가 빈자라바다. 이유가 나지. 그러다 무슨 말도 무슨 무슨 대박 가르쳐 거는 예전에 제라스 한마디야. 내가 쉬고 제발 드리를 하바 드리에서 야 쉬고데 그래서 좀 좋아하는 이거 하나지 손바나게 다 된바 드리에서 이 딱딱 예서 그래서 딱다 좋아 이거 소리 쉬고 갖고 이거 드리지 되리서 와 이거 대바 되는 시리에서 예서 다 돼서 뭐 예서
Yeah, so 3 Pandita so went to the city and then they met Shantideva. So and then they invited Shantideva back to the monastery. So please come back to Nalanda monastery. And however, Shantideva did not accept it. And then these 3 Panditas asked Shantideva, so which versions was the one that you gave to the community? Then Shantideva said that the versions compiled by Wu Bawa. So there are many groups of them. They compile the teachings and then came many versions, right? So then Shantideva said that the version compiled by the Yu Bawa, so compiled by the Bawa, so that versions contains 1,000 verses. Then that versions is the one. So Shantideva confirmed it.
我到底送把人噻，这送的跟人家啊的，一把的他切的，他切的，咱人家的主要是当，咱人家主要搞把子呢，咱军军拿了俺做，留俺把拿了，
讲的人家送人，
咱人家跟你在送也是不需要来肯定，需要来也人家主要肯定，军军留俺把拿了，军军留俺把拿了，那不规律的吧的，都规律的吧，可能个说的都规律的吧，大就我都是装备，都规律的吧。 就是了，这把钱呢，那不公立的大学，比如啊，这把中国呢，那个公立的大学是，这个对是，大学呢，不公立的大学是，大学是，这点嘛是，我们录取这边都公立的大学是，这送嘛也是，根据留俺们了，他这送家的，他这个公立的啥，那不公立的就是的，好像不们，这不会们，他这样学的是，你搞有的是他的。 영어는 수련 was 수능是当然也效果很多的时候有的要么对考完有的是也需要的是
So after Shantideva confirmed it that the versions compiled by the Upawa was the one that he gave to the audience, then Shantideva again asked, so in your 5th chapter, so as I shown, as you can see on the screen. So the 3 Panditas again asked Shantideva. So in your 5th chapter, it says that compendiums of trainings and compendium of sutras. So if you want to know, if you want to know extensive If you want to know extensively, then you should refer to the Compendium of Trainings. If you want the condensed version, then you should refer to Compendium of Sutras. So, and however, they searched and couldn't find where these two texts, Compendium of Trainings and Compendiums of Sutras, were. So then they asked Shantideva, where are they?
나한테 저스 좀 쉬워하게 때문에 여기 요새 네 엄마가 저는 거기 신도 짱짱 오르라 그 오르지라 신기 빠발라 이나 왜 빠발라 정말 바바다 나도 쇼부스네 되게 배워 요 말와 근데 신기 빠바 쇼부는 무슨 되게 요래 빠바 티마 빠바 티가 이렇게 되게 되게 요래 신 빠바 전반으로 맞는데 나 신기 커버 되게 말와 오늘은 신 뭔가 더 되네 뭔가 더 되네 뭔가 좋아 되게 좋아 근데 나 신기 빠바라 이 이중에 오늘 주에 요새 짱 빠바 이거는 사실 이만이 되나 예수가 예수가 딱
So then Shantideva said that these two texts, Compendiums of Trainings and Compendiums of Sutras, are written on the tree bark, and then they were put on the, I again forgot the word. So in the past, then when they built a house and it's using woods, right? So then the roof part, then they are using many woods and etc. And then these two texts are put on top of one wood. Beam, yeah. They're put on top of the beam.
어디가나 주제 요새로 어디가 주제에서 넣어서디 이 간다데 다 간다 제시고 싶어라 기간 주제로와 어디가 주제 다 미시마 제시고 싶어라 수다디 다다 나가도 용어라 가르스나 도쿠에 비바세 왔다 나 용어라 가도 진짜 저거 빈두 강가게 아다 수 강가서 가서 땡기 나고 줘 땡기 나고 와 땡주 완전 땡기 쓰지와 완전 상식이 뭐라고 와 땡주 나로 땡기 수 강가서 맞아 땡주게 제가 깊이 추가 분을 뒤에 다 뭐 매일 넣어서 좀 주기는 또 땡주는 거로 와 땡주는 요래 이나 가다데 제스 좀 쉬어는 집이 도쿠는 디바데 땡기는 거 무서워 자 맞아 땡기는 무서워
수요에 이제 또 군주 제
제스 좀 쉬어는 집이 도쿠는 디바 요러와 어디다 땡기는 나라고 땡기는 무서워 하여튼 음악이 lots of it's sanskrit tools do matla ake fare sare ese tinki lone yore tinki lone na khagi chutne char de tinki lone yo mare ese tinki lone yore na khanda pega de ho yo mare
the gyu matuba yang na di kasa gyu matuya yang na sanskrit ke ne pyo la
tinki lone ya matsubachi tinki yore sine yore ese ko ina khanda pega de ta ra ho yo mare.
So, Compendium of Sutras composed by Shantideva. So, is not found in the Tengyu. So we talk about Tengyu and Tengyu, right? The Tengyu was the collections of the texts composed by those Indian great scholars and also those Panditas. So, and then it was translated. They were translated by those Tibetan great translators into Tibetan. And then Gangyu are those collections of sutras given on the words of the Buddhas. So then, and however, this Shantideva's Compendium of Sutras is not found in the Gangyu. So, and then some say that it was because those great Lozawas at that time were unable to translate the Compendium of Sutras by Shantideva into Tibetan. And then some say that this text, Shantideva's Compendium of Sutras, was translated into Tibetan. However, they did not include it in the Tengyu. So Tengyu is a rough translation for it, if I'm not mistaken, is collections of treatises. Then Nagarjuna's also composed a text with the same name, Compendium of Sutras. So Nagarjuna's Compendium of Sutras is found in Tengyu. And however, the Compendium of Sutras composed by Shantideva was not found. It is not found in the Tengyu.
对了，我有意思。他都是今年都看到就是进步学那个，他可能你跟他本身的是送了吧，看到说两个之间吧，你都不能对吧的，他看到根据的时候，不就送了没事的，嘛两个节吧，学那个也是个他，你送有的吧，对的，只送了两个什么他节吧那个也是个，
可以記名啊，講得，
而且
記名啊，Yeah, and then Shantideva gave many instructions on compendium of sutras and a compendium of training and so forth to the three pandittas who came to invite Shantideva.
我等于是，他刚才就是进步学完了的，刚才嘛年龄了嘛，别没有嘛的，他的逻辑嘛，或者他自己学嘛对吧？去，现在刚才就是进步学完了，他颠不了去了，是不是什么节了？嘛说，理解了，跟逻辑嘛不的呢，我是可能这把这里没地方，这边这吧，我们呢这边是学吧，是特别呢，我打完了去了就不多，坚持颠不坚持，不坚持的理解我的。我们现在做这里，当然我是听吧，对吧？说的看的，我们来是这个的，特别是家节目学节目就有的话，那的家节目学那个是他意思吧
？So and then so this is a brief life story of Shantideva. So besides that, there are many great stories about Shantideva. Even though he did not go back to Nalanda Monastery, however, Shantideva held Buddha's teaching and flourished Buddha's teachings, such as through debating with those Ditika's teachers, those non-Buddhists. So in the past, two groups of view holders, and they will debate, and whoever lost the debate, then they will convert to the the winners as a religions or accept the winner's view. So for example, if Buddhists won win the debate, then the loser will accept the view of the winner, and then they will become or converted into Buddhists.
我等于是大家是这么学了，有的些那个进入的话，只要等于开始继续，我这个一个学员进入的话的毛不球那个的，这是也是能够去跟的话的时间进入什么，有说啊，也是能够去跟的话直接进入进入上的情况，对嘛学员的，这些的，也是能够情况都没有具体情况去，是吧？你必须学员是吧？
Yeah, so there are many commentaries on engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds, engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds or Bodhisattva. So, however, the main one is the commentary composed by Desabje or Desab Damarinjen. The commentary is called the Root Text and Commentary of the Great the Great Root and Commentary of engaging in the Bodhisattva deeds. And then, so I would like to briefly talk about the life story of Desabje.
那这这个逻辑对对是吧？那这是我的，刚才接着我这个到老嘛，那刚才本子就背是教了，那有的没多就差不多的，这我觉得话，这出去了过的，这接了过的，这大马人接了过的啊，那现在什么等到几个了哇？这我接了过的，这出去了过的，哇，这大马人接了过的，那你看看怎么等到几把几两股了哇？
So Getsabje or Getsabje or Getsab Damarinje, so different names, however, refer to the same person. So Getsabje was one of the main students of Jerumuchi or Lama Tsongkhapa, who upheld and who preserved and who flourish, caused the teachings to flourish. One of the main students who held, preserved, and flourish the Dharma teachings.
刚才介绍人过去的，看到是做你弄，就介绍人过去，你看到你这话讲是吧？你这话讲是，是做你
啊，明的两个说，
这话讲是，介绍人过去给你，从我去的，我介绍人， 그래서 뭐지 인스타 버전스 인스 도안지 버터 버전스
빈진
버전스
뭐 괜찮
오다
기대되려 네 말이
시조니로
시조니
뭐지
빈진 뭐 괜찮
버전스 뭐니 무슨 집에서 뭐 무슨 집에做的 그런 거지 그래서 그게 무슨 집에
시조니
시조니에 대해 그래서 뭐지다 이제 저번에 무슨 집에 무슨 집에 做的 그런 거지 연락을
So there were two main disciples of Rinpoche. One is Ketsabje, another one is Gyunjin Traba Gyatsen. So these two are the main disciples of Rinpoche, and the heart disciple of Rinpoche is Ketsabje. Kedubje, sorry. Because Sigi, the two is say so the Kedubje. Yeah, sorry, yeah. And the heart disciple of Rinpoche is Kedubje.
네. 자자는 뭐지? 간다. 인도야다 간다. 제는 뭐지? 로마 뺀 양사는 양바 또 최고 찔리게 되기 또 한번 쉬어지어야 되기나. 사만은 만다고 기타 자자는 뭐지? 차대. 자자는 뭐지? 내 차대디 제는 뭐지? 간다. 그도 바디 차다로 와 제는 뭐지? 와. 제는 뭐지? 그거 뭐 차다로 와. 바디. 바디게 뭐 차다로 와. 나가 바디게 뭐 차다네 때 제는 뭐지? 간다. 가디 칠라 야 나소지 야 나소지네 제를 뭐기다 간다 쳐가라 치지 잡고 간다 치지 잡고 차려와 가디 추하게 간다 나소지 가디 뭐 차다 치고 나소지 내 간다 제를 뭐기다 간다 가디 그거 가디 쳐고로 와
제를 뭐지라 근데 가디 티바라
나 저도 가고 제를 와 다 되지라 제를 뭐지 막 공부 들어지지 내가 다 제를 뭐지 다 대나시 다 자사대야 쳐들라 간다 야 앉아 자사 추수리지 나 간다 마 도서 된리기 제도 다 자사를 뭐지 고야기 제도 다 자사를 뭐지 가라서 제를 뭐지 우샤나
된리기 제도 안에 기사를 뭐지
슈트간 나 슈트간 간다 제를 뭐지 그래서 나 간다 슈트간 나서 지야다 뭔가 디나노 간다 쉬어야 돼 된리기 제도 제를 뭐지 예선 뭐지 우샤피다 메시지는 메시지가 가서 휴가지도 세고지 봐도 나가는 것도 그러지도 와. 뭐 대니는 해서 대체로 뭐지 대사 대니는 해서 대니는 나야 돼. 저는 뭐지 이게 무슨 그 슈주가 양아서 지금 뭐만 쉬는 그 진이 지하게做了 선거就是电力那么해서
So the two main disciples of Rinpoche was Gesabje and Gyunjin Java Gyatsen, and the heart disciple of Rinpoche was Kedubje. So and then even though there many students, many Rinpoche students, many of them had developed a realization in their continua. However, the special one was Ketsabje. So then so then Rinpoche established Ganden Monastery. Then Rinpoche assumed Rinpoche was enthroned and then became the first Ganden Chipa. So then he was like a king of Dharma. So then Rinpoche was the first Ganden Chipa. Then when Rinpoche also was about to pass into Parinirvana, then Rinpoche chose his successor, and then for auspiciousness, then Gesabje was the successor of Rinpoche, and then for auspiciousness, then Rinpoche gave his own the hat and also the Dharma robe, the yellow one, gave his Dharma robe to Gesabje.
나도 저 subject 뭐 나사디 다 간다 제를 뭐지 공부도 사디 공부도를 내디 제라 다 간다 참아디 다 제를 뭐지 로마 들어와 로마 간다게 저서로 뭐지라야 안 배우시니 다 간다 접사 자사 간다 주등가서 지역에 저서로 뭐지 쉬고 신선이 참아고 배우고 다 간다 쉬어 다 간다 다 로마 제를 뭐지 로마 뭐 쉬고로 와 제를 뭐지 나시에 부서 뭐로 와 저서디 이게 지금 근데 슈주가야 가디 칠 이게 미 간다 뭐뭐 이제 다자서는 뭐지 여기 다자서는 뭐지 다 주도가야 무슨 말서 제발했어 제발했어 네 주도가 와서 때를 여서 좀 잡서서 민도야 돼 그러나 때를 뭐지 여서서 돼 얘네서 민도가 해서 그러와 여서서
어디 제라 신이데 계산지에 민게 봐봐.
여서 지에서 와 여서서 어디 민도가 해서 아까 때를 뭐지 셀라다 간다 제를 뭐지 셀라다 간다 여서 뭐지 그래서 와 ya kwe zari tan da kuchini ke du ro che ge ta ba shi pi wa wa de inde ma ma de so ma ra wa de inde so du che ko mun ji sin che la on ju ise da nan ke du ro che ge ta ba pi wa da ta ba shi wa de inde ma se pe je re wa
과대 연대마.
de inde ma wa de sha dia je ro che ta ba pi wa je ro ja sa ro che tu ga de di chwa ni ba cha wa ta ni ba
the get subset the giwe sabro. Giesa the giwar.
je ro che sa
Gier mo sab.
Gier mo
Chi ge boro.
That's all. Gier mo chi kusar na.
And so then Jeremiah passed into Parirvana, and then many students gathered and they requested Kitabje to be the next Ganden Chipa, the holders of the Ganden throne. And then so Kitabje accepted, and then the enthronement ceremony was organized. Then Kitabje became the next Ganden Chipa. So Tsap means a successor, and Gie means king. So the successor of the king. So the king refers to the king of the Dharma, which is Jeremuchi. So he was the successor of the king of Dharma, Jeremuchi. So he became the next Chipa, the second one. Then Kedub Rinpoche, then he offered praise to Sabje. And that praise is called Peden Yundenma. So the rough translation for this is the glorious quality one.
Oh, then you got your just a moji. And I just got into a nibat. Wow. I got into a nibat. I can also got into a just a sheep on the Roa. And the person also the king with the garden into a gather she was wa. Yeah, she was wa. But just a moji got into a nibat.
Yeah. So then Kisabje became the second Ganden Chipa, and the Ganden Chipa that we recently met or visited LDC, then Ganden Rinpoche was Ganden Rinpoche is the 104th Ganden Chipa.
Oh, dear. They can't also just a get another getting each other. And that no much more do it. I get into the poor wa.
No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. Chipa de
to change about the location is a location to give us a location. That's what I got into one number is location.
So Gesabje became the second Ganden Chipa, and then for 13 years, so from the age of 56, then he was enthroned as the second Ganden Chipa, then until the age of 68. So he was the second Ganden Chipa for 13 years.
Oh, did you? You just thought that's a mochi. You take a location shoes are what? Not the sultan. You should go over it. Kitchen area. It was a thing but 0 peso. That is so. That is a Jeremuchi. Niba as it. The one Nibas. Young Jawan Nibas. Just a much to some info. Young Jawan Nibas. That the little Jeremuchi. A Jeremuchi Niba the person. That Loma Samari should go much as you know the not to be lived now.
Yawa ina de tangbo de Jeremuchi ro.
Just go on Niba or Tusin. It's Loma Moshi, you are that Jeremuchi Loma over the I got a Jeremuchi. Well, a Jeremuchi Masunji was nobody to be now.
Yeah, so Kisabje was the second Ganden Chipa for 13 years, and he upheld, preserved, and caused the Buddha Dharma to flourish. He performed the the exalted activities of upholding, preserving, and flourishing the Buddha Dharma. So then he even earned the name of Chamgyön Gyewa Niba. So the second Chamgyön Gyewa. So Chamgyön Gyewa was the name of was one of the epithet of Rinpoche. So Rinpoche, then Gesabje earned the name of second Chamgyön Gyewa. So because I'll say when those students and audience when those students listen to the teachings, they felt as if they were receiving the teachings from Rinpoche himself.
오 든리시네 간다다 제르모치 게서르모치 돈에 가진 저거 로치수 나마르와 로치수는 고노 두지리지 고노 두지리고라 간다 고바조르 거래 두지리지라 다 간다 제서르모치로와 제서르모치 두지리지레 와 그러니까 저서 공부하시네 네 그두르모치야 제서거 다 그두르모치야 나서치 가진 저거 수바 다 그두르모치 차고래 그두르모치야 슈트라 그래서 보치니 네 고노 두지리지가 막 공부하시오
So, yeah, so Gesabje was the second Gatenchipa for 13 years. Then Gesabje passed away at the age of 69. So when he was 68 years old, then he has a request at the permissions to be yeah. So then at the age of 68, then he kind of like resigned from being a second Kanten. Then the next Kanten, the third one was Kedrupje. So that Kedrupje enthroned and was enthroned and then became the third Kanten. And Kedrupje was his third Kanten for 8 years, and then after that, probably Kedrup Rinpoche passed away. So from second Kanten up to including the 35th Kanten so there is no specific years that they so they can be Kanten for any number of years, or for many years is also fine. So there is no specific number of years that they must they are enthroned. So then from 36 year onward, then he formal documents or official documents or a rule was made that when 36 Kanten onwards, then they will enthrone for every one of them. Then will be enthroned for 7 years. So before that, there was no specific years of enthronement mentioned. And however, on 36 onwards, then 7 years was specified. Yeah, so the 104th Gandhi. So his name is Losang Tenzin. So Gandhi Losang Tenzin, who recently visited BC. So we should consider so it's very auspicious that we are also it's very auspicious, and then we should also feel joyful and also rejoice in ourselves that we were able to meet the 104th Gandhi.
나도 슬로기 is 비비지로와 다가 자기 텔레마토마 오리지널 지도에서 지금 지도에서 아들이 대샤위 있다 디셈 그것에 대해서 말하기로 와서
today is all about the life stories of Shantideva and Kesapje. So then next class we will start the treatise engaging in the deeds of Bodhisattva. So I will stop here.
먼저 개인적 원들을 집대마지가 도와줘. 그래서 정거 좀 간다. 그거는 이모서 이제 이게 되는 거 얘도 줄 때마다 보이는 연락 보세요. 힘도 돼야 그래서 그냥 뭐 저기다 안 되는 거지 잡아도 저기라면 서로는 뭐지. 두 사람이 요즘에 연습 주는 이유도 또. 어디 이제라 그런 자리 유튜브라 파트 마무지고도 아무래도 봐 이유도 또. 마주도 봐 이유도 또니. 자리 그냥 같이 돼요. 그래서 제가 지당 와다 난자 유튜브나 무슨 좋아 신데 봐. 딱 들어라. 설거라서 봤더니 뭐 보시고도 그래서 봐. 뭐디. 간다 무슨 말 제일 있어.
So we conclude with dedication. We dedicate the roots of virtue in general to the flourishing of Buddha Dharma and to the excellent happiness of all sentient beings. In particular, we dedicate these roots of virtue to all upholders of Buddha teachings, mainly His Holiness the Dalai Lama, to live beyond long, to have good health, and quickly recover from the manifest sickness, quickly recover from the knee surgery, and may all their enlightened activities and holy wishes be accomplished instantaneously and spread in all 10 directions. And we also, in particular, we dedicate these roots of virtue to our beloved teacher, Geshe Lama Zopa Rinpoche. May the unmistaken reincarnations of Rinpoche be swiftly returned and continue to turn the wheel of Dharma for the sake of teachings and sentient beings, so that we will have the opportunity to receive precious teachings from Rinpoche again. And we also dedicate these roots of virtue to the world peace. May excellent happiness prevail in the world. May wars, conflicts, natural disasters such as earthquake, floods, and etc. be pacified immediately. And together with sickness and etc. be pacified immediately.